Hey everyone, welcome to Broadband Deployment News. The state of Tennessee is going to be releasing almost $163 million for broadband projects in the state, and that includes last mile and middle mile broadband deployment, skills training, as well as workforce development. I'll be right back with more. Thanks for joining me. Rick Husey here with Broadband Deployment News. So you see here that the state of Tennessee announces $163 million in funding to further expand broadband, and these are it's fairly diverse kinds of activities that they're going to be doing, which is good. They're taking a kind of a holistic approach here as far as the issues related to broadband, what they're going to need to do, especially with getting a lot of money that's going to be coming from BEAD. So you see here $162.7 million in broadband and digital opportunity grants. In total, these investments will provide broadband access and digital opportunity programs to more than 236,000 Tennesseans across 92 counties. And they're not talking about connecting up 236,000 Tennesseans. I think that's probably calculating the impact that all of the middle mile infrastructure will have as far as passing through various counties and communities, and how that will help, and maybe some of the digital training and those kinds of things. Because these funds, as I'm almost certain, are coming from the Capital Projects Fund, which is a fund under the American Rescue Plan Act, because it's $162.7 million. And I looked back, and they were awarded $162 million in CPF funds a while ago, and it mentions 50,000 locations to be served. It does mention some last mile and middle mile projects in here. There's not a lot of detail. It doesn't mention anything about training or anything like that. So I guess they're going to be using that money for that as well. But that's why I think it's most likely coming from ARPA, from the Capital Projects Funds. And it does mention around a little over 50,000 folks here later in this article. So with today's announcement, this is Tennessee Economic Development Office has invested more than $750 million to expand the state's broadband infrastructure, connecting more than 689,000 Tennesseans from across 275,000 residential and business locations. And again, that's the total since, I guess, what they've invested maybe recently in broadband, or maybe for all time in broadband. But again, not necessarily connecting all last mile kinds of connections in this. So I don't know what these numbers represent. Today a total of $97.2 million is being funded by the last mile and middle mile infrastructure programs, and $65.5 million will be invested in digital opportunity programs. These initiatives are part of a broader strategy to ensure that all residents have access to high-speed internet by 2028 and have opportunities to develop digital skills, access high-quality tech jobs, connect to broadband-enabled devices, and access online learning and telehealth resources. The investment of $97.2 million in broadband infrastructure will provide access to more than 58,200 Tennesseans across 23,000 locations in 37 counties. So again, that's very close to the number that we saw in that fact sheet on the Treasury Department's announcement of the CPF funding. And by the way, I linked to this article and that fact sheet, as well as something else I'm going to look at here in a minute, in the description of the video. To promote broadband opportunity and high-paying jobs, they launched 4 new programs during this funding opportunity: digital skills, employment and workforce development, connected community facilities, Broadband Ready Communities, and Tennessee College of Applied Technology broadband workforce grants. The DSEW grants, totaling $27.9 million, will be distributed among 47 organizations that will offer a variety of training and education programs to advance digital skills and workforce development, creating a pipeline for well-paying digital jobs. So, and I don't know what kinds of digital jobs there. You'll see here that there are some technical colleges that I'm sure will be doing, I would think, workforce development as far as maybe fiber deployment, I would hope, those kinds of skills, splicing, whatever might be required there. But there could be other kinds of digital skills that are just going to help folks maybe that are not necessarily related to broadband, but just digital training in general. I'm not sure of all the details. The CCF grants, totaling $26.5 million, will be distributed among 19 local governments and will facilitate digital opportunity by construction and renovation of spaces that offer services for digital advancement and workforce, healthcare, and education. So again, some community centers that will help folks that could use access to that kind of skill training, or maybe even public Wi-Fi kinds of services. The BRC grants totaling $6 million will be distributed among 64 local governments and support, and that's Broadband Ready Communities, and that will support community-based digital skills training, public Wi-Fi projects, distribution of free or low-cost devices, and marketing for low-cost internet plans. So those broadband ready communities, I'll talk about that in a moment. Those are communities that have committed to make it easier or kind of streamline the process of permitting and applications, those kinds of things. So they're getting some funds to also help them with these projects. The TCAT, that's Technical College Aptitude, we'll see it here in a minute. Technical College, I think, Aptitude Training. Broadband workforce grants totaling $4.9 million will be distributed among 5 TCATs that will offer a telecommunications electronic technician diploma. The objective of the program will be to produce a well-trained and diverse telecommunications workforce capable of deploying and managing broadband infrastructure. So there you go. So that is good for, again, coming, funding that they're getting now. So some of these funds, they're going to need people to that are going to be deploying the broadband. So this will help. It's, I don't know if they'll be trained in time, but certainly we need people in the kind of at the top of the funnel there that are going through the training, so that when they come out, they're trained, especially with the BEAD funding that's going to be coming later in later years, not this year and maybe not next, but they're going to certainly have a lot of demand for workforce coming up. Grantees across all programs are investing approximately $48 million in matching funds and will complete their projects by December 31st, 2026. So it says across all programs. Probably a lot of that applies to those that are getting well, certainly I would say getting maybe the broadband funding, and some of these projects, 2026. So they've got some time to do that. So again, that will get these services up and running faster than you would see probably from, definitely from any BEAD funding that's coming. So here you see the recipients for the latest round of funding here. And as far as last mile, again, this is connecting up the subscriber. So you see you've got Spectrum Southeast, ETC Communications, there's Spectrum Southeast again, Tennessee Valley Electric Co-op, Brightspeed, there's Tennessee Valley again, Spectrum again, Tennessee Valley again. So that's what they received in different counties. Middle mile infrastructure, you see you've got some winners there, including Ben Lomond. You've got electric department here. Bright Ridge, Loretto Telephone Company, Newport Utilities, you got Spectrum Southeast there again. Board of Public Utilities in Fayetteville, Lincoln County, Tennessee. Twin Lakes, United Communications, West Kentucky Rural Telephone Cooperative. So a good mix here. Got a large provider in Spectrum. You've got a couple of electric co-op, electric utility. I don't know if that's a municipal utility. And you've got a telephone cooperative, I think there's another Ben Lomond in there. So a good mix. And here's your connected community facilities, just various cities or counties that you see. And then go down there. Then we've got Broadband Ready Communities. So these, again, are communities that have committed to kind of make it easier to get permitting, because, again, that's these are handling some issues. Again, workforce is one issue that we have as far as being able to deploy lots of broadband all at once. And then you've got delays in permitting that are always a challenge. So if you want to get the broadband out quickly, and you're sitting there having to wait on permitting, that's a problem. So they're trying to resolve that as well. So I don't think this money is necessarily going towards the permitting part, although it certainly could help them as they need to do that, if they need to hire people maybe to make those, get those applications handled more quickly. But you see all of the counties there that are involved in that. And then you've got your digital skills, education, and workforce. And you can see the various community institutions that are getting funding there. So again, I've linked to this. You can scroll through that if you'd like to. And I did want to show this. This is the Broadband Ready Communities. So you can see, again, here's a list of those. I don't know if it's a one-to-one as far as who's getting funding and who's on this list, but those are the Broadband Ready Communities, other political subdivisions it mentions here. And then I just wanted to show the application to become one. And it's really not that difficult. It's just that you have to make a commitment that you're going to do this. You got to put in your information. You have to have a single point of contact, and that's a part of it. So that's important, so that anybody who wants to get an application, put in an application or get a permit or something like that, they know who to contact. There's one person, one throat to choke, as they say. There's one person that you can reach out to and contact and get answers for, or get answers from. So you get that information, you provide that information, and then You see here, is this where it talks about? Yeah, here it is. So a political subdivision may apply to the Department of Economic and Community Development for designation as a broadband ready community. The guidelines for designation must include a requirement that the political subdivision has adopted an efficient and streamlined ordinance or policy for reviewing applications and issuing permits related to projects relative to broadband services. And again, a single point of contact, a provision that all applications related to a project will be reviewed and either approved or denied within 30 business days after the application is submitted. It doesn't say you have to approve it, but you've got to approve it or deny it after 30 days. And I'm sure it wouldn't be good if you were denying lots of them for no reason, no good reason. An authorization that all forms, applications, and documentation related to a project may be signed by electronic means where possible. So again, not having to have people mail stuff in, get it electronically signed and move things along a lot faster. And then you cannot or shall not be designated a broadband ready community if you require an applicant to designate a final contractor to complete a project, if you impose an unreasonable fee for reviewing an application or issuing a permit for a project. A fee that exceeds $100 is unreasonable for the purposes of this section, so anything over $100. If you impose a seasonal moratorium on the issuance of permits for projects, so in the summer everybody's on vacation, you just don't do it. You can't do that. So I'm sure you can take maybe a Christmas week or something like that, but you can't take a whole season off. Discriminates against or among communications service providers or utilities with respect to any action related to a broadband project, including granting access to public rights of way, infrastructure, and poles, and any other physical assets owned or controlled by the political subdivision. So that's important as well, because a lot of times these access to poles and rights of way can be an issue and can really delay these projects, and they can increase the costs of the provider that are coming in there as they try to jump through all these hoops or get around these obstacles. So that's good that they were implementing this at the same time. It's a good thing for any state to do that is trying to improve broadband in their state. So anyway, looks good for Tennessee. There again, it's kind of a holistic approach. They're looking at, of course, trying to get broadband to as many people as possible. Also, digital skills training, just to make sure that those that are in the state have good skills to be able to use the broadband service. Trying to make sure that they have people that can get the broadband service installed and maintain the service. Again, fiber technicians. That would be for installing at customers' homes. It could be for doing maintenance on the hardline plant or the fiber outside plant. So again, good holistic approach for them, good for them. And hopefully that will help, and certainly will help. Again, as they've got all these funds now going to broadband projects, but we've got a lot more coming with BEAD. So this is laying the groundwork for that. It will help as they have a more expanded workforce. Plus, it will help as they have fewer locations that they have to serve with the BEAD funding, because they'll be serving well over 50,000 new connections or new locations that will no longer be on the map that have to be served by BEAD at that point. So that helps them make better use of that BEAD funding. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Please go ahead and give the video a like if you like it, and subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified when I'm live. Thanks for joining me today for Broadband Deployment News. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.